Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. They're Installment of Scout Selections here for Wednesday, May 10th. For again today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. We had a nice winner in hockey with the Hurricanes and Devils over 5.5 at +1 to 3 on Bet Online. I said in the video it was either the greatest trap line of all time or somebody was going to get fired. And I think it's safe to say a Vegas odds maker got fired because that was a really stupid line and we were all over it. Game went over once again in the first two periods. Game landed 7. Never in doubt. Look for the winner here on Wednesday. And for today's play, going to go to basketball. Going to look at a matchup between the Heat and the Knicks in Game 5 of that series, taking place at around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And for this game, going to take the Heat +4 at -110 on Fox Bet. Time recording of 2 a.m. Eastern Time. Covering why we're going to take the Heat in the spot. First reason shopping around, +4 is a very good line. Most books have Heat 3.5, so you're getting an extra half point with no additional juice, which I'll gladly do every time. But the story of this series has been pretty simple. When Jimmy Butler plays, the Heat win. Butler's played in 3 games in the series. The Heat are 3-0, and they've won each of those 3 games by at least 7 points, including game 1 on the road by 7. But to look at the one game the Knicks did win, they won game 2 when Butler didn't play. And even that game was close. The Heat were actually leading in the fourth quarter despite missing their best player. So it does seem like the Knicks are simply outmatched in terms of talent. I'll get into the actual offensive numbers in a second, but we know the Heat have the better roster. They have the better star power, with Butler and Adebayo being probably the best 2 players in the series. The bench has been very good. Spoelstra's a great coach. Thibodeau, we know, doesn't make many adjustments. I'll get into some details on that in a second. But it does feel like the Heat are the much better team, and I think as a result, getting 4 here does seem like a pretty good deal. But to go through the offensive numbers in the series or in the playoffs so far, because you know that is the Knicks' biggest problem, the Heat have an offensive rating of 117.1 in the playoffs, which ranks 4th in the league. The Knicks have a postseason offensive rating of 106.8, which is the lowest of all remaining teams in the playoffs. So the point is the Knicks can't score. I mentioned it in the video for Game 4. They scored 101 points. They can't put the ball in the basket, and a big reason why, Julius Randle, who's been really bad so far in the playoffs. Now, he was pretty good offensively from the floor in Game 4. However, he was pretty brutal defensively, and he also fouled out in the game. But going through his postseason numbers, he's averaging 15.9 points per game on 37.5% field goal, and he's also committing 3.5 turnovers per game, including 6 last game. So he's been very careless with the ball, and we know that when Randle struggles a bit offensively, that definitely carries over defensively, because I'm sure there were some compilations going around. Some of his closeouts in Game 4 were benchable. It was sad how easily people were blowing past him, and it seemed like Randle mentally checked out of the game. And to go through some post-game press conference quotes from Randle, it's a serious red flag. So he was asked the question, quote, Julius, you guys haven't been able to get the amount of offensive rebounds and loose balls that you were able to get in the Cleveland series. Just what have the Heat done differently to beat you at your own game? And Randle responded, quote, maybe they want it more. I don't know. That's who we've been all year, and we've got to find a way to step up and make those plays if we want to keep our season alive. Maybe they want it more. I don't know. Ouch. Probably not the quote you want to hear from arguably the leader or at least the star of your team. I know Brunson's probably the star now, but you get my point. He's a very important piece of the Knicks roster, and now half the Knicks fan base or more want him traded because he's a playoff quitter, and it does seem like mentally he's completely checked out of the series. But I said this in the Game 4 video. It really does remind me of that Knicks-Hawks series from a couple years ago, where you thought it was pretty even going into the series. It was tied 1 apiece with the Knicks winning Game 2. They lost Games 3 and 4 on the road pretty comfortably. They came back home for Game 5, and they got buried. It feels like the Hawks in that series just figured out the Knicks schematically and broke the Knicks emotionally and mentally. It really does feel like the same exact things happening in this series, where Spoelstra is coaching circles around Thibodeau. The Knicks can't score. It seems like emotionally, as I said before, Randle's kind of checked out. And you're looking at the actual adjustments that Thibodeau made in Game 4, and I really don't understand them. Now, Quickly did not play. He was injured, which was a big deal for the bench. But the main adjustment he made, yes, foul trouble played a part in it, but he only played Josh Hart 22 minutes, and he played Grimes 42 minutes. That was the main adjustment he made, and I thought that Josh Hart was one of the best players for the Knicks in this series. So the point is, I don't really know what Thibodeau's doing with his rotations, and I think he's kind of trying to make it up on the fly. And that's a problem. And with Quickly being out, I know Quickly hasn't been good in the playoffs, but at least he gives them some scoring off the bench. The Knicks only scored 10 points off the bench in game 4, and the Heat scored 32. So the point is the Heat have the better star power in the series. They have the much better bench. They have the much better coach. And yes, I know the Knicks are at home, and you can argue, the crowd's going to be into it, and maybe it'll provide a spark. Do I really want to lay 4 points with a team that can't score? No, not really. I think the Heat are the much better team, and I do think they'll show it once again in this matchup. The Knicks probably need Brunson and Randall to show up and have good games. Brunson might. I'm not sure Randall's going to show up. He might mentally check out of the game. But you're going to give me Jimmy Butler, you're going to give me Bam Adebayo, and you're going to give me Spoelstra. I'll take my chances getting 4 against a Knicks team that seems arguably broken right now at this point in time. And to go through the trends here, the Heat are 13-5 ATS in the last 18 meetings in New York, including the outright win in game 1. But the point is the Heat have already won a game here in the series. They've been playing great basketball. The chemistry is fully there, and it really does feel like the Knicks are falling apart. Give me the Heat +4. I think they win the game. Personally, I think the series is over. But I'm going to play it safe, and I'll take the Heat plus the points. So the play today, once again, here for Wednesday, May 10th, is going to be on the Heat +4 at -110 on Fox Bet. Bye, everyone.